We all understand the importance of quarterback in the NFL. It's top two most important positions in all of sports. That and the best player on an NBA basketball team, the two most important positions in sports. But Demeco is coming from San Francisco, where they were making some hay with Brock Purdy. They were winning games with Jimmy Garoppolo, a career mid in the NFL, and they were going with a rookie at the start of the season with Trey Lance. So, that's the exception to the rule.
He tried to paint that picture.
What's that?
Demeco tried to paint that picture yesterday.
See, here's the soundbite, because I saw some people take this both ways. I saw some people take it it doesn't matter who your quarterback is if you build up the rest of the roster. I saw some other people say, well, this means he's taking quarterback at number 2. Here was Demeco talking about that quarterback position for the Houston Texans coming up in this draft.
We understand we have one quarterback here on our roster, and we have to add more at that position. And we know everybody gets excited about the quarterback. The quarterback is one piece to a team. As I seen in San Francisco, what happens when you don't have that one guy? Is the season over? Are you just booking it? And no. How do you build around, Build around that quarterback. Yes, we want a great quarterback, but no, we need a great offensive line to protect the quarterback. We need great running backs, great tight ends, great receiver. We need a great defense, special teams. We all play together, and that's the awesome part about football is it's not on one guy's shoulder to go out there and win the game for us. So it's all about building around each other, and playing together. That's how we'll win games.
Honestly, I thought that was a stock answer where he said he talked a lot and said nothing. I think he went in every direction, was giving a very cliche answer.
Good, he should though, too.
Right, I agree. I don't disagree. What he's going to tell you that he's going to take Bryce Young at 2? No, it doesn't make any sense to do that. But he said, I have one. So a lot of people said I have one quarterback. So everybody thought, oh, Davis Mills. He thinks he can win with Davis Mills. He also says we need to add more. Honestly, I think that sentence was completely from a 53-man roster point of view.
We have one guy on the roster?
Because the other 2 are free agents. So it's we currently have one on the roster. You do. Davis Mills is the only quarterback under contract. We have to add more. You do, because, again, Davis Mills is the only quarterback under contract. He says you have to have great everything, because if you don't have that quarterback, then it can elevate the quarterback, basically. But he also says you need a great quarterback. So he said both things. This was a very cliche... it was a nothing burger statement from Demeco Ryans.
And I think it should have been, because you're not going to tip your hand. You're not going to give everybody any indication. And all you needed to say was exactly what he did. Maybe not as long-winded, but just say, hey, we only got one quarterback on the roster. We know we have to address the quarterback position. As we settle in here and Nick and I start getting into real business now that this is done and we put this behind us, we understand where the focus is going to be for this franchise. We know how important a quarterback is, but we know how important a lot of positions are too. So it's going to be, again, the real telltale signs where you guys can start giving out grades out there and get really, truly heartfelt filled excitement is how they handle free agency and how they handle the draft. And then based on the direction they go, you probably will get whether they're transparent or not, you'll get as clear an understanding as we've gotten in the last couple of years as to what the thought process was just by who they take, I think, more so than anything else.
Yeah, it will be a tell. And look, I have a very low standard for what the Texans do. I've told you this every single day. I'm happy with one of 4 players. You want to go Bryce Young, Will Anderson, you want to go Jalen Carter, Will Anderson, go defense? I'm cool with that, especially since you hired Demeco. You want to go Bryce Young and then Will Levis because you're bringing in a West Coast guy? Hey, I'm cool with that. Here was where I think Demeco did tip his hand a little bit, because I don't think he really tipped his hand a whole lot in terms of roster or what you're doing at number 2. He talked more philosophy and how he wants his team to be, but I think he did tip his hand on who the next offensive coordinator is going to be.
How I envision the offense looking, we want to play with precision, we want to play with effort, we want to play with physicality. So with that being, we want to own the line of scrimmage. We want to establish the run game first, but we want to be balanced, We want to be able to operate with play action pass, We also want to be efficient. We want to have explosive playmakers who we can get the ball to. If it's not down the field, we want to be able to throw a check down, and put it in the hands of an explosive playmaker and see him create. So everything about our offense, we want to make sure that we're adaptable to the players that we have, making sure we're playing to the strengths of our players, getting the ball in our playmakers' hand and letting them make plays.
A lot of people thought that Demeco Ryans was reinventing the wheel whenever he said that he's this revolutionary when it comes to offense. But I think he told us who the next offensive coordinator of the Houston Texans is going to be. Yeah,
I think
there's no doubt.
Later on when he started talking about having a diversity on his staff, experienced guys and maybe less experienced guys. I think he's paving the way for you to be okay with him taking Slowick as his offensive coordinator.
Now, Slowick not a minority, but
but
he's a younger
I'm talking
guy.
about the diversity in terms of experience on the coaching staff.
Sure.
You might have some veterans that have been there and done that before. You might have some guys that have never called plays before, I think is the way I saw him setting that up.
I think it's another layer to the onion to peel back. But if you look at it from what he said from like an offensive point of view, he wants to run the ball. He wants to win at the line of scrimmage. He wants to use play action. If he's not throwing it deep, he wants to throw it to explosive players underneath. Yeah, it's great. Shanahan.
Well, that's
Shanahan.
because I saw LaFleur say the exact same things to do what he's done in Green Bay.
Right. And look at the 3 offensive coordinators that have currently interviewed for the job. Maybe there's more, but we haven't heard news in the last couple of days. One's Bobby Slowick, who's the 35-year-old passing game coordinator for San Francisco. The other 2, remember, you need to also satisfy the Rooney rules when it comes to hiring a coordinator.
That's true.
One is Troy Walters, a black man, who's the Bengals wide receivers coach. They don't really run that, run first, under center, play action, lots of motion. They really don't do that in Cincinnati. And then Nick Caley, who's in New England, I really don't know what his offensive scheme is. He was the tight ends coach with the Patriots.
He's probably a defensive backs coach under Matt Patricia.
I think it's a John Carroll favor. That's where Nick Caley went to college. Where did Nick Caserio go to college? He went to John Carroll. So I think that they're doing Caley a solid by getting his name in the mix again for another offensive coordinator job. He was in the Jets mix, didn't get the job. He was in the Patriots mix. It went to Bill O'Brien. With Caley?
Yeah.
I mean, the obvious one's New England here, but I'm guessing.
And there's New England, San Francisco, and Jimmy Garoppolo, Eastern Illinois.
Caley.
He was the coach there when Garoppolo was there.
Okay, that terrifies me.
And wasn't
Me too.
But wasn't the Bengals guy under Zach Taylor who was under Shanahan as well?
I thought Taylor was a McVay guy.
Oh, okay, he's a McVay guy.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
So,
same similar style offense, though.
Similar styles, but I mean, I guess it depends on how you think Walters is going to run that offense, and because he's been at Cincinnati, I don't think Zach Taylor's offense really looks like Shanahan's.
No, but with Mixon, they do try to run the ball first. They've got the 2 running backs where they like to run the football.
You think the Cincy's run first?
I think they try. They want to be from time to time. I think like from series to series. Like if they start a new series, I think there's times that they are completely run focused.
Joe Mixon needs to run to Joe. Did you see the news
Yeah,
on him?
I did.
My goodness.
No, it's dismissed.
They got dismissed?
It got
His
dismissed.
lawyer already had set the table. It was going to get dismissed.
Yeah, it came out today that the gun thing was dismissed for him.
So he didn't do it, or he just
No,
paid him
they're
off?
just saying that, what
question.
I'm sure that what they're going to say is, do you know it was his finger or a gun, or can you prove it? And if you
I
can't,
think the other thing from that statement that I take away is like he talks more about the flexibility, and I think that's why like a Kyle Shanahan offense makes sense, because the one thing Shanahan has proved is he can adapt to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
He has Garoppolo, who's a throw first guy, going to be in the pocket. Lance was going to be more of like the RPO, more college style offense, and like that's what you have to do. You have to build, like you have to just build around what you have. If you have, like that's why I thought Pep Hamilton, like he had no chance to succeed with Davis Mills, because I thought whatever offense he was trying to run, Davis Mills couldn't run.
Right.
Like there was plays that could have been successful. We brought this up with Nagy the other day. Like the minor strengths that Mitch Trubisky had, and why Nagy probably wouldn't be a fit here, is because he can't do the square peg into a round hole. Like you have to make your offense work around the talent you got. You don't have a choice.
I thought Keenan McCardell, obviously for a lot of bias on from my standpoint too, but I thought he got an interview in New England, but I thought he might be a guy that they'd at least talk to, because working under O'Connell last year with the Vikings, I think that, again, that kind of style of offense is something that could work that with Demeco and his philosophies, and I thought that he was a guy that they might speak to. I'm glad Anthony Lynn wasn't on the list, and when we talked about it the other day, because I want a guy that's going to call plays and also spend time developing a quarterback. I think Anthony Lynn is more focused on just trying to get his next head coaching job or figure out where he's going.
The one thing with San Francisco's offense is that, like, while they're able to adapt to their quarterback, they do it, like, with the same stuff. Like, they don't change a whole lot of what they do. Now, the play calling is a little bit different. They might change up a couple of different things, but for the most part, their offense is their offense, and it's almost quarterback proof. Like, you almost get really good quarterback play from that spot because of the offense. We saw it with Kubiak with the Texans, who made Matt Schaub look like a top 5 quarterback for a couple of years, and we seen it with San Francisco, made Mr. Irrelevant look like he could potentially go to a Super Bowl. So I think he tipped his hand. I think the next offensive coordinator is going to be Bobby Slowick.